Hello, everybody. Good Sunday afternoon, March 10th, 2019. Just 3 days before my birthday. It's just hard to believe that I will be 40 years old this coming Wednesday, good Lord willing. And today I am celebrating. I am making spaghetti and meatballs. And it's everybody's favorite around here, and so it is mine. I'm going to make them from scratch, and I'm going to show you how I make mine. I've been making spaghetti meatballs for a long time. So this is just a remake of another video that I've done probably about a year or so ago. So I want you to stay tuned. All right, welcome back, everybody. I got my ingredients set out. Now, I'll tell you what, I love making meatballs and spaghetti, and as well as meatloaf and chicken casserole or turkey and dressing. Anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Now, I've got 2 pounds of hamburger meat. I bought a big pack of hamburger meat about a week or so ago, and I divided it up and put it in a freezer. And it just makes life a whole lot easier to deal with. Okay? This fresh hamburger meat, by the way. I've got 2 pounds of ground pork. Now, if you're not too crazy about the pork part, then you can skip that. The ground pork is going to help it become moist. I'm going to work my way in here. Now, it pays to have a giant bowl like this, because this is going to make a huge amount of meatballs, probably about 30 or 40 by the time I'll set it down. You just want to break up the hamburger meat and the pork. You can use ground chuck. If you don't like beef, you can use ground turkey. If you don't like pork or beef, you can just use ground turkey, period. So I got 2 pounds of hamburger meat, 2 pounds of ground pork. Now I'm going to add some other stuff. Let me wash my hands. Very important that when you're handling raw meat, that you start with washing your hands before you cook, before you eat. And also, after you handle raw meat of any kind. That way you won't make yourself sick or anybody else sick. Now, I'm going to add 4 eggs. I usually add 1 egg per pound of meat. But since I got 2 pounds of beef and 2 pounds of pork, I'm going to put 4 eggs in here. I'm going to start adding my seasoning. I use some salt. Quite a bit of salt. Probably about a tablespoon or so. This is kosher salt, by the way. If you don't have kosher salt, you can use sea salt. I love using kosher salt and sea salt. I got Italian seasoning here. About a tablespoon or 2. Now, it's going to make a whole lot of meatballs. Okay? I got some garlic powder. This is about the same recipe that I follow when I make meatloaf. And I have done that before using whatever I didn't, the mixture that I didn't use for meatballs. I just formed it to a loaf and bake it in the oven. I got onion powder, probably about a tablespoon or so. Now, I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese. This is shredded kind that you can buy at the store. 1 whole cup. I have to come in here you want to use clean hands. The eggs are going to help it bind together, and so will the dry breadcrumbs that I'm going to put in there. And also, what I did was I took a half a loaf of bread and I just grounded it up in a food processor till it becomes crumbs, of course. And then I soaked them in some milk. And I'm going to put the whole thing in there. The soaked breadcrumbs also are going to help the meatballs become more juicier and moister. And it's going to help keep everything together. Tell you what, my hand is getting cold. LOL. All right, I'm going to add some dry breadcrumbs. I'll say probably about a cup, since this is going to make a whole bunch of meatballs for my spaghetti. Make sure that you use clean hands. Clean hands is a cook's best tool. Notice I'm really getting in here and just stirring things around with both hands. Tell you what, this could be a workout, but I enjoy making spaghetti meatballs. All right, you don't want to overdo your mixture. So I'm going to say that this is good enough. So I'm going to wash my hands again. Now, I want you to stay tuned. I'm going to get set up. I'm going to get a couple of pans out. I'm going to preheat my oven. And I'm going to show you the size that you would want to make your meatballs. All right, welcome back, everybody. And you notice here that I got most of the meatballs made up. Matter of fact, I've got some baking in the oven right now. I preheated my oven to 400, and what I did was I took, you will need a flat pan like this, almost like a cookie sheet. And what I did was I took some parchment paper and I brushed it with olive oil. Now, olive oil is a good thing to have to cook with. I love cooking with olive oil. Now, I bought a jug like this for less than $20 at my local wholesale store, and it goes a long ways. I think olive oil is the best thing to cook with. Now, they're saying coconut oil is, but I've not tried that right yet, but I will eventually. Now, I've already got 45 meatballs cooking in the oven, and you would want to cook them for about 30 minutes at 400 degrees. Now, I'm going to show you. You can tell they're about probably the size of a golf ball, maybe a little bit bigger. This is something that you could get your children involved in, or maybe a team, whatever. And this will make quite a bit. This recipe will. Now, if you don't want to fix that much, you can certainly divide it in half. Now, this is going to be a whole lot more than what we could eat around here. You can take this to a church gathering. You can use it for a fundraiser, a benefit. You can take it anywhere and sell you some play spaghetti meatballs. If you're raising something, you can serve a sports team, whatever. And voila, there you go. This made about, I want to say about 65 meatballs altogether with this recipe. So, I want you to stay tuned. I'm going to show you the sauce and the noodles. Well, actually the spaghetti that I'm going to be using. Let me wash my hands off right quick. So I want you to stay tuned. All right, welcome back, everybody. My first batch of meatballs are just about ready to come out of the oven. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to make the sauce. Now, this is extremely easy. Now, usually I make my homemade sauce, but I don't feel like opening up a bunch of cans of tomato sauce. So you just go to the store and get you 2 jars of your favorite spaghetti sauce or marinara sauce, whichever you want to use. Now, what I'm going to do is, here in just a minute, I'm going to rinse these jars out with water, and it's going to help the sauce. Now, let me go get my spices. I think the store-bought sauces are a little bit too bland. I like to flavor them up a little bit more. And this is really, really simple. All you got to do is add a little bit more salt to it. Some onion powder. I've got garlic powder. Italian seasoning. And some onion powder. Now, I'm going to stir it up. Now, I'm not going to put all of the meatballs in here. I'm probably going to put about maybe 20 or so. Now, the rest of them, I'm going to put them in the freezer. And you can do the same. If you don't want to use all the meatballs in one setting, just put them into some Ziploc bags and freeze them until later use. I probably just, you can save them for about up to a month in the freezer. Now, what I'm going to do, though, is I got something in mind. Our church is having a dinner next Sunday, and I'm probably going to just take the rest of the meatballs then. So what I'm going to do is whatever meatballs that I'm not going to use, I'm going to put them in some Ziploc bags, put them in the freezer, and just set them out the day before. And when I'm ready to use them, I'm going to put them in the sauce and reheat them. Let them cook for a while until they're heated up. All right, so what I'm going to do is I got about a couple of minutes for my sauce gets out of the, for my sauce, listen to me, for my meatballs to come out of the oven. I'm going to put about 20 of them in here. I'm going to cook my spaghetti. I'm actually going to use linguine. You can get this at your regular grocery store. You can use spaghetti of any kind. It's up to you. So, I want you to stay tuned. I'm going to put everything together. All right, everybody. My first batch of meatballs are finished, and I've got the second batch in there. Now, I'm going to show you, before I put them in there, before I put everything together, what they look like. Now, they've been in the oven 400 degrees for 30 minutes, and they've turned out really, really good. So, I'm going to put maybe about 20 or 25 in here. And the rest of them, I'm probably going to put in a freezer and save them till later this week, because I don't want these to ruin. And then reheat these up in some sauce. So, what I'm going to do is when I put them in here, I'm going to let them simmer for a while, just enough so the spaghetti can cook, in another pot. And then I'm going to put everything together. So I want you to stay tuned Everything is just about ready. Welcome back, everybody. Everything is finished. Take a look at all these meatballs. Now, this pan is hot. I just took the last batch out of it. I got about 40 meatballs left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these in Ziploc bags and put them in the freezer until about Saturday, somewhere along that time. And I'm going to take spaghetti and meatballs for a church gathering. You can serve this at a homecoming, get together, picnic if you wanted to. You can serve it for a basketball team, baseball team, whatever. It's just totally up to you. Or for a whole crowd, this is enough for an army. And what I did was I took about 30 of them and put them in this sauce and let them cook just long enough where the pasta was done. Everything is finished, so I'm going to serve me a plate. Just cook the noodles according to the package directions. Alright, that's just enough for me. Now don't that look good? Allow 2 or 3 meatballs per person. Or if you're hungry, you can eat a little more. Alright, now I'm going to add some shredded Italian cheese. If you don't have that, you can use Parmesan cheese. I like a lot of cheese on mine, you can tell, can't you? Alright, so I want you to stay tuned. I'm going to sample it for you. Welcome back, everybody. Supper is ready. Look at here. That looks incredibly good, don't it? Now, I'm going to taste it for you. I've already said a bless. As a matter of fact, I've already been nibbling on some meatballs. Okay? It's hot. Tell you what, doctoring up the jar of sauce is really worth it. And I'm going to sample the meatballs for you. Well, one of them. Part of one, anyway. Really good. I'm so thankful. Well, guys, thanks for watching. Continue to subscribe. Comments are welcome. Have a blessed Sunday afternoon.